before we get started, I just want to thank you for being in my space today. Tera has such good energy. From the moment that I met her, I'm like, I gotta have her back on my channel because it was just a dope conversation. Now, last time, I don't feel like you got to really introduce yourself. So go ahead and tell the people more about you.
Man, I really appreciate you for like using your voice and like actually having these hard conversations that needs to be had.
Yeah.
Like real recognize real.
That's right.
Okay. When I see one, and I'm just so thankful for the opportunity. Like you don't even know when you're in like someone's presence that as a giant, you know, like who is great, and you gotta really give people their flowers, like to know them. So just keep doing. You gotta just keep doing us. Honestly,
that's right. Yes,
honestly, but I am Tera Chantelle. Like I'm just learning every day more and more, like shedding layers of myself and these labels, and just coming back to like my true essence in this spirituality. So I'm like been learning a lot about spirituality and learning a lot about who I am as a person. And I really came here just to be me, you know, and really want to just shed light and spread love however way I can fit in, whether it's in entertainment, media, poetry, speaking, comedy, wherever I can just, you know, be the light. Hey, that's what I'm going to
be the light. Yes. Now, one of the things that you touched on in our last video, you talked about you not having sex. So you're practicing abstinence, but it was unique because you said you don't plan to ever have sex again.
Girl!
Okay? Like ever.
Right,
ever again.
I know they're going to try me though. They're going to try me.
Yeah, so I know like a lot of people I think they were confused by that because it was so different. So some people DM me and they were like, it was a really good conversation, but this Tera girl, I don't understand it. Like, what does she mean? I don't understand what she wants. So can you talk a little bit about like, how did you get on this journey? What made you decide to be permanently abstinent?
Yes, spending time in solitude. I don't think people understand when you choose to be alone. Like, it's a choice. It's not a force. It's like I'm choosing to dive deeper into the depths of this life, of this world. I have so many questions. Like, a lot of this stuff don't be making sense to me. And like, we just robotically going along with it and losing ourselves. So spending that time, I spent like so much time alone and like not going out, not clubbing, and just like sitting with myself. And I was like, you know, I like who I am. And then I started just detaching from like desiring romance so much and desiring like things of the world to like bring me happiness and just find pure joy within myself. Like sitting outside in nature, I'm like, oh, the simple things really do bring you the most joy.
Yeah.
And that's what I just been learning, that, and then studying like other people, like Jesus. He was a healer as well. He didn't have no kids or no recollection of like having sex or being like romantically involved with somebody. So I was like, if y'all really got something to say, y'all be looking up to Jesus.
I'm about to say that because y'all know people love Jesus, so she is living in accordance the way he was living.
I'm over here trying to be Christ consciousness out here.
Yeah, okay. So you're 27 now. So approximately around like 22, you would say you stopped having sex?
Yes, literally 22.
Yeah, 22. Okay, so that's a very prominent age because I think for a lot of people that's when they're kind of coming into their sexuality for real. So was there something that happened that made you want to make that transition?
Yes, I was like sexually active when I was 16. I started early. I feel like I started early, like doing life, like being wild, partying, drinking, smoking, like just experiencing life as a teenager. And I had boyfriends and then of course like I had to be in a relationship, I felt like, to actually give my body away, because that's what the social norm says. Like, you got to be boyfriend and girlfriend in order to have sex with them. So I'm like, hey, you're gonna have to cuff me or something.
Cuff me for my goodness, goddammit.
But that doesn't even really, you know. And then I started breaking that down. Those are all just imaginary titles that really don't exist as well.
Yeah. Okay.
You know. And then so I'm just like, breakup after breakup, heartbreak after heartbreak. I'm like, oh, I gotta keep my heart to myself, because obviously y'all don't know how to handle this heart.
Yeah.
So realizing like we gotta protect our heart, we have to just protect our energy. Like, I can still love you and I can still give love, but I can't give you all of me anymore. And that's my body, and that's just my boundary.
Yeah, that's sacred. So good for you. Yes. So sexuality. That's the overarching theme of today, talking about sexuality, because like I said, a lot of people didn't understand where you were coming from. And I think that in general, when it comes to women, a lot of people don't understand the importance of sexuality. For us, there's a lot of self-worth. There's a lot of dignity or lack thereof. There's emotion that's tied to it that I don't think men really understand. So that's what I kind of want to dive into today. Okay. So for me, my journey started early too. I was 15. And for me, sex is like a sensitive topic because it took a long time for me to understand why I was navigating sexual situations in the way that I did. And I think that for myself and for a lot of women, a lot of it traced back to the relationship that I had with my father.
Wow.
Right? And my father, he and I were like super close growing up. That was my best friend. We did a lot of things together, but he had a lot of demons, right? So he was living the street life, doing God knows what. And as a result of that, it would be like in and out of jail, like all the time. In and out of jail, in trouble, doing something of that sort. And so it sucks when you don't have a parent. Like, I understand the struggles that people go through when they don't grow up with a parent. But when you have an unstable parent where it's like, okay, 1 minute you're getting love, the next minute you don't know what you're going to get. It's like this push and pull, right? And so I've realized that I have deep-rooted abandonment issues, right? Abandonment issues started really, really early on. And I find that when you have abandonment issues, you search outside for reassurance. And so for me, yes, outer reassurance. So for me, my reassurance was school. People always tell me you were super smart, like you're so intelligent. So I was always in the books super early, straight A student. And then also looks, like from a really young age, you tell little girls, oh, you're so pretty, like you're a cute little girl, and that's fine. But then when you get like 14, 15, 16, you turn into a different type of person. So it's like sexual attention is what you get. And so for me, finding that connection or finding that source of love, I tied that to sex. Like I realized people were attracted to my looks, and it's like, oh wait, you think I'm pretty? Great, this is how I get attention from you. And that kind of, in a way, made my abandonment issues feel a little bit better because I felt if I had those sexual connections with people, then they wouldn't leave.
Come on.
Listen, child.
We all hold on. Are you preaching?
Listen, child. So it's like,
that's for real.
Yeah, so it's just like, I guess this unhealthy dynamic or unhealthy relationship with sex is what I think a lot of people have, but they don't realize it.
Girl, we want to feel like a void of emptiness, and it really all starts with like our parents. Like we have to heal that relationship first and foremost before we go into any of these romantic relationships that we desire, because we're just going to be seeking like mommy and daddy out of them. And the voids, like especially for women, I know me, like I thought sex brings you close, like you're inside of me. Like, but then knowing like the impact it has, like when we do really break it down, that's why we feel like, oh, we in love after a day if we like, oh, we be attached. Like, it don't take long. The chemicals be real.
Yes. And you talk about that before. You talked about soul ties. Soul ties. I gotta talk about this because I don't think a lot of people understand how deep rooted sex is. And I think that the problem for me is that people see sex as just a very casual thing. Like you were saying, I felt like sex is connected to emotion, but why can't it be? Like, why isn't that something that's such an intimate moment? You're allowing somebody into your body. Why is it not tied to emotion? Or why are you seen as being clingy or whatever if that is something that you have tied to sexual interactions?
Man, that's what I realized. Like society right now is so hypersexualized, over-sexualized, and very animalistic. Because like never you really think like we're not gonna catch feelings if you don't understand. We skin to skin on this bonding level. This is the most intimate as it gets. We naked. Like it's really all on the table, and we just presented it so loosely. And I think it's because we just desire love and not knowing really true love is like really within, and we think it's outside. We really think like love resorts to sex or sex, and then but not understanding like the ripple effect like it all has. One thing that I learned in one of my psychology classes is that all humans, to a certain extent, they want to feel closeness to someone. And so with men, you know, we're always taught that sex doesn't matter to them as much. It's just a meaningless act. But subconsciously, a lot of men are having sex or engaging in sex with different women because they still want to feel that closeness, but they don't realize it. So for them, it's just like, all right, I just want to, you know, bust this nut real quick, going about my day, but you got connection from that person. You're trying hard to hide it. They hide it really well well, and they also know how to cut women off faster than we do. You know, they know how to, if a woman quote unquote cheat or disrespect them, they out.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta find the way to be out quick like that too.
Yes.
They be out quickly. But I think they have a easier time because they are like external, like they're not as connected as we are to just the spiritual realm, so they can like be able to be more logical with their emotions or not try to show it, because you know how society says men can't cry.
I hate that. You know, I really do hate that. Too. And I don't know, I just feel like when I see, and this is probably the part of my issues with the abandonment and things like that, but when I see that a man struggles with emotion, for some reason those are the type of people that I gravitate to, and it leads to trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is a thing. And I realized, I was looking back and reflecting on all the men who I would feel like, and there hasn't been many, but the men who I did feel like I had a deep connection with, who I would say that I love, all of them had some sort of trauma. Every single last one of them. And I think it kind of ties into this this warped perception of what love is, because it's like, okay, I've been through things, you've been through things, you get me, I want to help you. Like, you, in your head, you're like, this is gonna work out, and you don't realize that you're actually trauma bonding with someone.
Can you tell us what is trauma bonding? Like, what does that look like?
Oh, so for me, let's see. One thing that I had to learn is when you're getting to know someone, disclosing certain things when it's the right time. And I had to talk to my therapist about this, because for me, it was like, either I'm going to be super closed off, or I'm going to tell you everything about me because I want you to get who I am as a person. And if you do that too soon, one or two things can happen. Like, the person might be like, oh shit, I can't deal with this, and they run in the other direction. Or that person might be like, okay, this is a safe space for me to now share my traumas with you. And when you have that type of vulnerability with people, and you feel like someone's connecting with you and understands where you're coming from, you might mistake that for compatibility. And I think that's when people get into relationships, because they feel like they have this deep-rooted connection with someone, when in actuality, you're bonding off of the trauma that you guys share. That is the story of my dating life, child.
We are all traumatized.
Yeah.
Really, like, in our generation, we are traumatized. And I'm like, we should not be focusing on romance right now. We gotta heal this trauma. Yeah. We should really be friends. I think more than ever, but we really do just move so fast. Yeah. I noticed that, like, our generation, we very microwavable. We want it now. We have sex in like a matter of days or weeks, like, and then we in a relationship the next. Yeah. It's like, whoa, you really don't know a person. People be acting out here for a long time, but I don't even think people can even wait. Like, they're like, so how long should I wait? It's not no time frame though. Like, you have to just really allow people to reveal their character to you in situations. Like, go out, be in public, see how they treat other people. Like, watch the signs, but we be ignoring the red flag.
Oh yeah. And I think sex makes it worse. But you see what would have been a glaring red flag if you were abstinent? You see that, you're like, okay, maybe it's a white flag. Like, that ain't gonna be a problem. Like, it ends up being a major issue later on. Like, it's terrible. Oh, dear.
Sex really does cloud the judgment. Because I know, that's why I had to stop having sex, because I get stigmatized.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm over here checking for you.
Yes.
I'm not worried about me no more. I'm so worried and concerned, and my attention is all on you.
Exactly.
I'm lost out here.
Exactly. And that's how you know how quick it is. Because I've had that happen before, where like, I'm good. I've had a period of abstinence. I'm focusing on myself. Sex happens. Boom. Now I'm looking on your social media. You posted who? You ain't texting me today. Like, what's going on? Now I'm like hyper focused.
Oh my God.
When I was focused on myself before. I don't know.
I think sex should be out the equation for a long time.
Yeah. I think everybody would honestly benefit from having an abstinence journey. Men especially.
I think this is really for like the culture. I think this movement, even how everything is moving in this world though, like from having all these viruses, and then now the ban is happening. It is calling us to go within. Yeah. But we be ignoring the signs because we want a sneaky link. We just, this is silly stuff.
Yeah. So going back to the topic of soul ties, something that's come up on my YouTube channel a lot is pair bonding. Right? I don't know if you've ever heard about pair bonding, but they have psychological studies that show when we have sex, oxytocin is released. And that makes you want to kind of feel that connection to someone. So the science says that if women have too many sexual partners, then her ability to pair bond, it kind of decreases.
Ooh, right? I don't want to hear that, son.
Just for women. women though, not for men. This is what they say for women, not for men. There haven't been studies. Ironically, there haven't been a lot of studies on how it impacts men, right?
Ooh.
So men are using this as their basis for saying, I don't want to wife a woman who has too many bodies because she can't connect. But the question for me is, what about the men out there who have had numbers of sexual partners? Because then if we go back to soul ties, when you enter someone's body, you're absorbing some of their trauma and the trauma of the people who they've been with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really crazy that women, we do have to carry ourselves at a higher standard. Like, we are called to really lead the nation. We're honestly called to be the leaders, low-key, but we just got this misconstrued and not understanding our worth and thinking it's like worth has to be within like a relationship or anything else outside of us.
Yeah.
But we really have a life force in us that gives life, so we have to be so choosy, so picky with it. Like, we can't do what they do, and it's because of just the animalistic nature men have of just to like replenish the earth, like plant seeds in everybody and shoot up everybody club.
Yeah. So do you think that that's actually the whole animalistic thing? Because that comes up a lot. One person had an interesting perspective, and they say, well, we use that justification a lot, but we're ignoring the fact that our brains, we have human brains, so we have a very complex way of thinking and of adapting, more so than what other mammals would. So you guys are saying like it's in my nature to just have sex with a bunch of people because that's what animals do, but we're on a higher level than animals are. So to some extent, it's like, should we be holding men more responsible for holding themselves to a higher caliber when it comes to sex?
Oh my goodness, yes. I pray some men will start carrying themselves as kings, like knowing that they're worth. But men are very easy right now. Like, if I can get a man easy. Like, all I gotta do is twirl. They will come. Y'all are so easy, and I think everybody is easy right now. Honestly, we are too easy for everybody. Like, you have to have some type of protection to you, like some type of security, like just some things just have to be off limits. But we are just seeking, like boys, we are seeking love, and we really are ending up just trauma bonding because not knowing, like, we should not be this easy. It's not saying you gotta be hard to get and challenging, but you gotta have some boundaries now. Like, come on, everybody should not know everything about you. Everybody should not know your every move in life. I think it's just certain things off limits. Yeah.
So what do you think has aided, like, what has led to that? Because what I see now is that people are very open with sex, but they're very, very hesitant about intimacy, which to me is extremely backwards. I will never understand it. Like, people will be so quick to give up certain things. Like, there's people who will be like, y'all have sex, but I won't kiss. That's way too intimate. And I never understood that, but a lot of people feel that way. And I'm just like, you don't feel like your body itself is intimate, but kissing somebody is more intimate. So where does this come from? Like, do you think that goes back to parenting, or like, is it this society that we're in, social media? Like, what ties into that?
Wow, that is so heavy, because like intimate is just like having these type of dialogues with one another. Intimate is like looking each other in the eye. Like, intimate is like just like massaging your significant other, holding hands, like really having these vulnerable talks with each other. But if you lack emotional intelligence, you're not going to be able to connect with anybody. You can't even regulate your emotions properly. You don't even know how you feel. So now, how can you even have empathy for other people?
You can't. I think that's what it is. That's what it is. And I think that we're all going into these relationship dynamics, and we're super guarded and we're super shielded. So it's like this false facade of intimacy, and that's what a lot of people are falling for. And then when you truly get to know the person and you realize it's not what it is, it's like because we came into it and we weren't our true selves from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay.
From the beginning. And that's what I'm like, if you are just starts off as like friends with somebody, you can just allow them to just be themselves. Like, it's just so much easier just to start as friends, because now we don't have to like act. Like, I don't have to make it seem like I got my life together. I don't gotta seem like I got all this money, and I gotta like really show you things and be very materialistic, because a lot of people are just after people because of materialistic reasons, and it's secret motives. Like everybody has a secret motive, like, oh, what can I get from you?
Yeah.
What can you do for me?
Yeah.
How can you pay this bill? It's just like, it's not real.
Yeah.
Everything is transactional.
Yeah.
Because we're not even starting from a genuine place. Like if you just come as you are, come not even expecting anything from a soul, like genuinely just want to connect, genuinely just want to experience each other for who they are.
Yeah,
that's what we came to this existence for, just to experience. And if we just get back to that playing field, I think we can truly just start vibing with one another.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you say transactional, because I've talked to a lot of women who have been having sex for a long time, never experienced an orgasm. So when you go into transactional, it's like, well, what are you? It's sad, because then you have women who are kind of opening their bodies to these humans because they want to feel closeness, and they're not even experiencing the joy that is supposed to come with it as well.
Girl, I was playing myself for the longest. Yes. I ain't never had an orgasm by another person. Like, another person never made me orgasm.
Ever in life?
Ever in life. That's why I was like, oh, it's just destined for me to be.
Are you serious?
It's not even worth enough, because they don't know your body like you know your body. Like, what? They really just cared about, I was literally used. Like, that's how, if you are not getting your orgasm, you're getting used. You're getting played. You're getting finessed.
Yeah.
I'm not no garbage can that you just can dump into.
Yeah. That's so crazy. And it was like, I've even talked to some women where they're like, because they want to feel closeness to some people, it wasn't a situation where they were sexually assaulted, but I can relate to the feeling where it's like, you don't really want to have sex with someone, like you will be okay with not having it, but you also feel like you want to have that connection or keep the person there next to you. And so a lot of people have literally felt like they were just, their body was just used, you know what I'm saying? Like they were just laying there and they were literally like a sex doll for men to get off on. It's just like, I didn't even want to do this. This is horrible.
And you have to know your worth.
Yeah.
Like, don't even put yourself in situations where, okay, I'm alone with this person, like in a bedroom setting.
Yeah.
So you can avoid that at all costs, because it's like, when we get to there, of course it's gonna be harder to say no, but like, don't even put yourself in situations.
Yeah.
Off rip, I be having to tell the future before it happens. I'm like, oh, let me not go to your house.
Yeah.
Like, because what are we gonna do in the bedroom realistically? We not gonna sleep. We gonna have sex.
Exactly.
So let's avoid that.
Yeah. I think I've become so much more confident with saying no to those type of situations, like, because men will try it and they'll make it. I recently had a situation where someone was like, they tried to link up to record content, and I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to film at? And they were like, well, I don't really have anywhere, but you come to my room. Literally was late at night, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to learn to avoid certain situations, but feel confident with yourself, knowing that if I say no and you walk away, I'm okay with you walking away, because I'm okay with being by myself. And that's the biggest thing. Yes, learning to be by yourself. Yes.
You like it over there? You like it too much?
What you mean?
And that's what they have to understand, like, especially like attractive women, it's a choice to really have this type of peace. Like, we're choosing this because we know our worth, we know our value in life. Yeah. And it's no need to try to force things or yell and scream and fight with you. It's okay, work on you. Like, we gonna work on ourselves, and I think that's okay to be in a relationship with yourself for once.
Yeah, absolutely.